And with me in the studio is Danny Kushlick from the Bristol-based Transform Drugs Policy Foundation, an organisation that believes drugs should be legalised. Thanks for coming in. You also believe that drugs should be tested at events like Boomtown, but wouldn't it be safer just to have better security so that drugs don't get in the first place?
We've got to be realistic about this. People take drugs at festivals, enormous proportion of them. We can't keep drugs out of prisons, so we can't possibly keep them out of festivals. The reality is that people are going to use them, and the best thing to do is to make sure, firstly, that they come home alive. What we want to do as parents is to know that our kids are going to come home, first and foremost. And this is a service that provides them with an opportunity to be safer. Not completely safe, but safer.
You see, taking ketamine as an example, if you get caught outside with it, it's 5 years. You can go to prison for 5 years. It's a serious criminal offence, yet smuggle it in somehow and you can go along to a tent and have it tested. So what signal does that send?
This isn't about signals. This is about wanting our children, our mothers, our fathers, our brothers and our sisters to be safe. We want them to live. So you can send out public health messages. We do that with tobacco, and we use education. We use public health messaging to do that. The criminal law doesn't do that. It isn't a deterrent. There's plenty of evidence to show that the law isn't a deterrent to use for most people. So the practical side of this is to keep people as safe as possible.
At this festival, I think there have been 5 deaths in 4 years. Is there any evidence that testing drugs on site reduces the number of casualties?
What we know is that without any information and without any opportunity to get those drugs tested, that people are taking drugs that are way too strong. Some of them are adulterated and some of them aren't the drugs at all that they intended to buy. So what this offers is an opportunity for people to be much safer. But ultimately what we need is the government to take control of supply. The only reason we need to test these is because they've been gifted to organised criminals and unregulated dealers. If you could get a blister pack with a purity guide on it, you wouldn't need the testing. But in the meantime, the testing will help keep our
so at the moment, just
safer.
Going back to the ketamine example, I think it's a powder. I mean, you could be taking anything, couldn't you? You snort it, I think. It could be anything in that packet.
Absolutely, and that's what happens when if you prohibit any demand-led supply, you just gift it to organised criminals and unregulated dealers.
But then it's a free-for-all. If you legalise it, it's a free-for-all.
No, we have a free-for-all now. What we're talking about is government control and regulation. We don't have a free-for-all with regard to alcohol. We did when it was prohibited in the US between 1920 and 1932, and the mafia ran the business, and people didn't know what they were drinking. They were drinking hooch, they were drinking moonshine. It was dangerous, it made people blind. What we want is government control and regulation. Pharmacists, doctors and licensed retailers, purity guides, safer use information, age controls. People won't be able to enter.
They'd be making a profit out of it and paying tax, presumably.
Like with alcohol. Like with pharmaceuticals. Okay. This is the normative way that we deal with adult risk-taking behaviours, and that's what we want with drugs.
Danny, nice to see you. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. Thank you.